Alright, so I'm gonna wait a couple seconds for everything to clear up in here, and then we'll be on our way. But anyway, today is, so my camera died last night. That's why it just like randomly cut off during the conversation. So, and I mean, I mentioned it before. I mentioned it before it died. I was like, oh, my camera's about to die. So I tried to, and I was just about to like finish up the conversation too. I was like, dang it. But anyway, it's all right. There we go. Okay. Alright. So as far as the day goes, today's gonna be push day. Excited to see what happens when we get in there. So it'll be fun. It won't be fun. Okay. Alright, anyway, I don't know why I like blanked out. That was weird. Anyway, work on getting out of here. It's probably not a good idea to drop the hood on. Alright, cool. Now we're out. So really so first thing I wanted to do was finish off the conversation from last night, which, to be honest, I was gonna look at like where I stopped talking, where the camera cut off, and like start up from there. But I forgot to do that, so, and I don't really remember. So basically, I'm just kind of gonna do. Just gonna say this. Really to, end that conversation, bring it to a close. Although it's great to be motivated, it's great to have motivation. While you are motivated, you need to build or find a routine. Once you have that, you need to work up and create the discipline. Because it takes a second for you to actually become disciplined and gain that trait. It does take a second, but over time, once you stay disciplined, it becomes a routine. It becomes really easy. And that's not to say that you're not going to have hard days. You're still going to have hard days, but sometimes it's like a day that might have, a time that might have used to suck for you might not, be hard anymore. You might just like breeze through it easily. So anyway, but yeah. Yeah, once, because if you don't have a routine, and you haven't built, or created any sort of discipline, then you're just gonna crash. So, yeah. But this topic for today kind of piggybacks off of yesterday's conversation. So this is more so about why consistency looks boring. And yeah, if you take the time to actually take a second and think about it, oh yeah, consistency, doing the same thing every single day, oh yeah. No, there are times, I mean, like I mentioned it, yesterday, where it's like, it's, late night, and I only have one more meal to get through, but yet there are times where I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do this, and it's not even like I have 2 meals left. I only have 1 meal. It's like, then I'd be done. And I mean, you'd think that it would just be easy to say, it's just this last thing, might as well get it over with. But so yeah, sometimes it's hard to not be like, oh, let me eat something else. Let me instead of having to like weigh out my food and weigh out my stuff, put it in a bowl, whatever, can just grab some like snacks from the pantry or something and make up my calories that way. And it's like, yeah, no, it's not going to help me in any way. So, why consistency looks boring? Well, why does it look boring? What consistency is being, so I'm not saying that this is the definition, I'm just saying I'm just making a statement here. Being consistent with something, what is that? Well, that's doing it again and again and again every single day for weeks, months, even years. Especially when it comes to the gym, yeah, that's years upon years of work, of training and eating and being consistent and staying true to your routine. Why are we stopping at a yield sign? Why? But yeah, staying consistent can get boring really quick, especially if you don't like what you're doing. It does not take long for you to be like, oh yeah, this is boring and this sucks and I don't want to do it anymore. Especially I mean, I just said it, but especially when it's something that you don't want to do or you don't like doing, yeah, it's really, really easy to fall off basically and stop doing it and then not be consistent. But even though sometimes it gets boring, that's where the discipline that I was talking about yesterday comes in to the situation. Having the discipline to stay consistent with your goals and what you want to do. And I mean, that's just objectively true for anything, not just the gym. That's just objectively true for, I mean, practically anything. Nothing really comes to mind for something that's not. Nothing comes to mind that's not, that doesn't apply there. So, yeah, even though, consistency can suck at times and be boring and, you don't want to do it or whatever, sometimes you just gotta suck it up and just, gotta do it. And the times of, especially if you haven't built up that discipline yet, the times of sucking it up and doing it is what creates that. That's exactly what creates that discipline to get through the hard days in the future. And maybe that time that you're going through in that instance, right then, you might go through another instance like that in the future, and it's like, oh, this isn't that hard to get through anymore. This situation came up, and I breezed through it perfectly fine. It's like the difference is now you've built up that discipline compared to when you didn't have it. And now it's become, dumbass, that guy doesn't have his lights on and it's raining. What is with people and not knowing the laws of the road? I don't get that. It's like people and not knowing who they're voting for and why. Anyway, that was completely random. But yeah, although it is boring, sometimes, like I said, you just gotta suck it up and do it. And over the times and days that you just suck it up on the difficult times and the difficult days, that's what builds your discipline. Now, you won't just build discipline in one day. Discipline takes a little bit to be built. But over time, once you realize what being disciplined is in that area, what is bro doing? Once you realize what being disciplined is in that specific aspect or area, bro, that is not a crosswalk, and that is how you get run over. But you just have to be mentally tough to stay consistent and build up that discipline over time. And I mean, like I said, once you do, I wouldn't say it like changes, it makes every single hard day or hard time easy, but it certainly helps. So I can tell you that. Why are you in the middle of the road, dude? Get in your freaking lane. Yeah, you definitely have less than the average chromosomes in your body. Anyway. So, anyway. This one's kind of a quick topic because really I spoke about it yesterday unknowingly. But I mean, yeah, to really bring this to a close, you know, why does consistency look boring? Why is consistency boring? Well, because it's doing the same thing every single day. Well, that's not the case for everything. You know, that's subjective. It's dependent on what you're doing, of course. So not everything is meant to be, you know, not everything like is going to be done every single day, if that makes sense. So but some things, like at least for me, in terms of going to the gym, I personally go every single day. So for me, being consistent is going every single day, even on the hard days, unless I'm like sick or injured. And now that depends on the severity of the injury, of course, because it's like, you know, if I got something going on with my legs, that doesn't mean I can't do like upper body, and I can't, you know, switch to like a different split for a period of time. Like if I, you know, snap my leg in half, which I really hope will not happen, but like if I snap my leg in half, you know, I can start doing like chest, back, shoulders, arms, you know. Like I can start doing something different just to spread out my days, rather than having just doing like push and pull every single day. Because I'll admit, me personally, I'd say I have a higher probability, or there's a higher probability there of getting bored of doing that quickly. So anyway, but yeah, so for me, and that's not even like talking about food, that's just simply talking about training. So yeah, being consistent with my food is getting the same meals, eating the same meals every single day. So, you know, that's being consistent with it. And even when I don't want to, I do my best to make sure I end up doing it, because otherwise, if not, that's when I remind myself, like, hey, how do you think you're gonna look on stage if you don't eat this? Which is kind of weird saying when you're on prep, because usually it would be like, you know, how are you gonna look on stage if you do eat this? But anyway, because for most people, when they're prepping or in prep, they're not eating. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, to bring that to a close, even though consistency can be boring, in the long run, you're going to benefit from it. And just about anything that you do as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, but other than that, let's go inside, warm up, and then get started doing some incline dumbbell. Alright. Overall, amazing lift. Everything felt great. Got a better, I guess. Now that I've done it once, it's usually like always the first time you try something, it's always like wonky. It's always weird. So it might not feel that great, but it's like the next time you do it, you're like, wow, this is amazing compared to the first time. So anyway, the dumbbell, incline dumbbell flies with that specific way of doing them, oh, amazing. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, honestly, like, if I were lifting how I used to lift, which is like rather than training to like specific like reps and sets and whatnot, really I was just training for like once I felt fully pumped, you know, then lift was over basically. And you know, well, I would just keep going till I was fully pumped. So but I'd also be taking everything to failure as well. So that's kind of where it differs, I guess. But sorry, intrusive thought. But yeah, with that specific way of doing them, dude, those are great. I would honestly, well, last time we did pec deck, it felt pretty good. So I want to say that was the day that I actually didn't record the lift. So yeah, that was but I also tried doing it in a different way, and it felt pretty good. So I might trade out like all three versions of the, you know, for that like contraction piece, contracting movement. So whether that's pec deck, cable fly, or incline dumbbell, I might just like, you know, keep that on a rotation, or, oh no, we'll see. Honestly, what I'll do is next week I will, there's a hole in my pants, that's not good. Next week I will try out all the, because I have like, or well, I say I have, but this gym has 3 different, like pec deck or machine flies at least, whatever you want to call them. So what I'm going to do is try out all 3, see which one feels the best, and basically if they all feel like crap, then I'll only do dumbbell fly and cable. Just, yeah, cable always feels good, like no matter what. Even with the subtle like bicep activation and a little bit of shoulders that you start feeling after a little bit, even with that, it's still the chest bump part of it now. It feels great. So yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, it just depends on how that feels. So, but I started to say, and I went back to what I was saying. But yeah, no, if I was so this is going back to the conversation of like how I used to be training. So yeah, if I was training how I used to train, after those incline dumbbell flies, I would have called the lift there, because my chest, and well, that would have been if I was doing like a chest day, I would have called it.
because wow, my chest felt great on that one. So anyway, yeah, but let's go ahead and hop in the car. All right, so absolutely amazing lift. Yeah, I want to say everything. Yeah, no complaints about anything. Literally every single thing felt like perfect. Yeah, no complaints whatsoever. Oh well, that's great. Okay. Of course it turns yellow. Turn your brights off, bro. Anyway. Yeah. Absolutely amazing lift. As far as tomorrow goes, tomorrow is pull, so really just back and by with rear delts thrown in there. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, so speaking about like the whole end of the day meal thing, and really that's just like a laziness, being lazy for me, which, you know, it's kind of surprising to say about, you know, me and lazy in the same sentence, which is crazy. Anyway, so the whole like last meal situation, I figured out an easy fix, which I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. But I don't really like meal prep, meaning I'll make the food for, like, I'll make a crap ton of food, right, for, you know, however long it'll last me. That's a electrical company. There was a truck like on the sidewalk. I'm like, how did you get up there? Anyway, so I don't really meal prep or anything. I just make like a crap ton of food. So, and then from there, like, that's, you know, from there I'll get out of the fridge, and then, you know, if it's something that needs to be cut up, I'll cut it up and weigh it out and then put it on a plate and eat it like that. So yeah, that's the way I do it, even though meal prepping would probably be a lot easier, but I just don't think I have enough containers for that, basically, or at least like the proper containers to do that. So to me, this method is easier, at least. Yeah. But anyway, so basically, the new meta for the last meal, the new move is put the meal together. You know, weigh it out before I go to the gym, put it together, boom. Now it's like I can't really avoid it, so I can't really talk myself out of it. So, you know, it's like right in front of me. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I decided to do. So I think that's gonna be the new method, is weigh out my stuff Or, well, at least for that meal. Because it's like everything else, you know, it's not like a challenge. The only reason that the last meal of the day is a challenge is because I'm already pretty tired. And I don't know if this is just me, but it's like, you know, once you take that late night shower, it just, you know, you're even more tired. It like casts a spell of sleepiness on you or something. I don't really know what fully goes on there, but yeah, it's like you take that shower and then you just want to, like, well, it's more so that you don't want to make your last meal, and instead you want to eat like some pistachios. Instead you want to eat like pistachios, a couple of like mini Butterfingers, and a small package of some Ritz crackers. So yeah, don't want to do that, because that is not gonna get me to where I want to be. So anyway, but yeah, this will definitely keep me in track of doing, you know, making the meal beforehand. And then it's like, you know, hey, now I don't have to do I say work, but it's just like taking out the chicken. Really the only work to it is like taking out the chicken and cutting it up. And it's like, you know, after the shower, I like start thinking about, you know, do I really want to take out the chicken, cut it up, and put it in a bowl, and throw some rice in there in the bowl, and then get out the pineapple and weigh it out. It's like, now I just get in my head over something that's so small and so easy to do too. And then, yeah, let's just say I end up doing something I'm not supposed to. But anyway, I need to start. So, good thing though is I did my cardio. I'm on the shtick now of doing it like earlier, and by earlier I mean like eat my first meal and then go do cardio, because I'm usually starving. I say, what the oh, that's a deer. Okay. Oh, there's more deer. That's great. You stay over there so you don't run in front of my vehicle. Anyway. But yeah, so there's cardio. I was like, wait, what did I start talking about? So yeah, still got to the gym later this evening, so, and then got caught up in conversation. I should have just hit my set while because it was, I'm not gonna word it like that. That sounds too bad. It's a group of 3, so me, this one Jack dude, and then this other guy. So we were all kind of just like chatting. But I should have taken the time to listen to my inner Sam Sulek and be like, give me a second, and then hit my set, and then resume the conversation, so that way I don't lose my pump. For a second, that actually is what happened, and I was doing like my filler reps, and then I got like sidetracked. I got distracted by something. I forgot even what that was. Right now, the blood that is supposed to be in my brain is currently dispersed between my packs, tries, and shoulders. So, yeah, the thinking power is kind of being taken away from right now. So, anyway, other than that, yeah, that's really all I got. So, as far as tomorrow goes, again, tomorrow's pull day. Tomorrow's gonna be the lat biased pull day. So, gonna be working on the width of the back. So, yeah. So, I mean, I would say as long as I get my meal in tonight, which I'm going to. So, you know, this is how you force yourself to do things that you don't want to do at a later time. You do them earlier. Or you at least prepare for it earlier, and then it makes it easier on yourself when you go to do it later on. So, anyway. But yeah, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. And yeah, I mean, I'm personally expecting a good pull day tomorrow. So, other than that, I will see you then. So, whether you're bulking or dieting, get your food in, or don't get your food in. Make sure you're getting your fluids in. So, whether that's water or something different. And yeah, stay true to your goals. And other than that, I will see you tomorrow for should be a good pull day.